Jesus didn't only speak about the end of the world in mysterious symbols or distant prophecies. He gave warnings that were practical, urgent, and rooted in real decisions ordinary people would have to make when history reaches its most dangerous turning point. According to Jesus, there is a moment coming when hesitation, attachment, or misinterpretation will mean the difference between survival and destruction. At the center of that warning is one of Scripture's most unsettling phrases, the abomination of desolation, first revealed through the prophet Daniel and later emphasized by Jesus himself. This was not a topic meant for casual debate. Jesus flagged it with unusual seriousness, adding a rare instruction: let the reader understand. In other words, when this moment arrives, understanding must turn into action. The day the temple's permanence was shattered, the warning begins with a scene full of contrast. Jesus and his disciples are leaving the Jerusalem temple, one of the most breathtaking structures of the ancient world. White limestone walls gleam in the sunlight. Gold accents reflect light so brightly the temple seems to glow. For the disciples, it represents faith, national identity, stability, and divine protection. It looks untouchable. Overwhelmed, they point it out to Jesus. His response is calm and devastating. He tells them that the entire structure will be destroyed, stone by stone. Nothing will remain. In a single sentence, Jesus dismantles the idea that sacred appearance guarantees safety. If something as revered as the temple can fall, then every human assumption about permanence is fragile. Later, from the Mount of Olives, with the temple still visible below, 4 disciples ask Jesus the questions that surface whenever stability feels threatened. When will this happen? What will be the sign of your coming? What will signal the end of the age? Jesus answers not like a philosopher, but like a watchman. The first threat: deception before destruction. Before speaking about wars or disasters, Jesus begins with what destroys more people than violence: deception. False leaders will arise, claiming divine authority. They won't appear obviously dangerous. They will sound convincing, comforting, and confident. In fearful times, people don't just want truth. They want relief, and many will accept false hope without realizing the cost. Then Jesus describes global instability, wars, political upheaval, famine, disease, earthquakes. But he makes something clear. These are not the end. They are the beginning, like early labor pains that signal something far more intense is coming. The warning grows personal. Followers of Jesus will face hatred, betrayal, persecution, and death. Lawlessness will increase, and love will grow cold, not just because of crime, but because prolonged chaos hardens the human heart. Still, Jesus anchors hope firmly in place. Endurance matters. Faithfulness matters. The message of the kingdom will reach the whole world, and history is moving toward a determined conclusion, not random collapse, the trigger that changes everything. Then Jesus narrows the focus. When the abomination of desolation, spoken of by Daniel, stands in the holy place, everything changes. This is the point of no return. Jesus does not explain it casually. He does not allow room for delay. His instructions sound like emergency evacuation orders because that's exactly what they are. When this sign appears, theory ends, action begins. 4 ordinary situations that become deadly traps. Jesus lists scenarios that feel normal now, but will become lethal mistakes in that moment. First, do not assume religious centers are safe. Jesus tells those in Judea, including Jerusalem, to flee. The very place people would instinctively run toward for spiritual security will become dangerous. Familiarity with holy things will not protect anyone. Obedience will. Second, do not delay to gather possessions. In ancient homes, rooftops were daily living spaces. Jesus warns against going back inside to collect belongings. What feels like provision will become an anchor, Seconds lost will close escape routes. Third, do not turn back for comfort. The field represents routine life. The cloak represents warmth and security. Jesus says not to return for it. Crisis will reveal whether obedience or comfort truly rules the heart. Fourth, do not misread the meaning of desecration. Jesus directly connects Daniel's prophecy to a time of suffering unlike anything in human history. This tribulation will be so severe that survival itself would be impossible if God did not shorten the days. That is why the response must be immediate and decisive. Let the reader understand means this: recognize the sign and obey without delay. Compassion in the middle of warning. Jesus does not issue these commands coldly. He acknowledges the cost. Pregnancy, nursing, winter conditions, and cultural restrictions will make escape brutally difficult. His instruction to pray is not superstition, it's realism. The urgency is physical, immediate, and unavoidable. Why false Christs will be so dangerous? Pain makes people vulnerable, and Jesus warns that deception will intensify. False messiahs and prophets will perform signs so persuasive that even the faithful would be endangered without divine protection. Some will claim Christ is hidden in remote places. Others will say he has appeared secretly. Jesus is firm. Do not go, do not believe it. His real return will not require whispers, influences, secret rooms, or private invitations. It will be unmistakable, like lightning across the sky. When it happens, no one will need confirmation. The moment recognition comes too late. After the tribulation, signs will shake creation itself. Darkness, cosmic disturbance, and fear will spread, not because people are confused, but because they finally understand. The Son of Man will appear openly, gathering his people with precision and power. The same God who warned clearly will rescue clearly. Jesus compares it to reading the seasons. When signs align, the moment is near, right at the door. Though no one knows the exact hour, the signs are meant to produce readiness, not complacency. Ordinary life, sudden separation. Jesus compares the end to the days of Noah. People were living normally right up until judgment arrived. Normalcy did not mean safety. Two people working side by side, one taken, one left. Everything looked ordinary until it wasn't. Readiness is not panic. It is steady obedience when the world is distracted. The final warning. Most people miss Jesus ends with a parable about servants. The faithful servant stays consistent, responsible, and watchful. The unfaithful servant assumes delay means permission. Negligence grows, indulgence follows. And when the master returns unexpectedly, excuses collapse. The warning is clear. Delay is dangerous. Obedience is protection, and readiness is not optional. When Jesus said, "Let the reader understand," he wasn't inviting speculation. He was demanding discernment and action before it's too late.